Hello, 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 good people. It's your sister, Reverend Jocelyn, here, and I'm here with another episode of Impact Women, which is sponsored by Women in the Ministry, a community that's focused on helping women who are called to start transformative ministries to create a better impact in the world. And so I'm here excited to introduce a dynamic woman of God, MarieYolaine Toms, who is a passionate social entrepreneur and CEO of Community to Community, a nonprofit dedicated to restoring dignity to vulnerable communities in Haiti. Born in Port-au-Prince and raised in Maryland, she founded Community to Community after the 2010 earthquake to rebuild her father's hometown. And she had the development with dignity model in mind, which she's going to talk more about that soon. Under her leadership, Community has provided clean water, planted 14,000 trees, built so much in the community. She's going to tell you more about that too. But what I'm more excited about is how passionate this woman of God is for her work. I mean, she has a story to tell. And so you are in for a treat as I welcome MarieYolaine Toms to the show. Welcome, MarieYolaine.
Thank you so much for having me, Reverend Jocelyn. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, well, I'm so grateful that you accepted my invitation because when I first heard your story about accepting the call, I'm like, man, this sister, she must have a conviction that's very strong because this transition was not easy. So let's first talk about what was your life like before you started Community to Community? What was going on?
It's funny. This year will be 15 years. So I literally can say I don't even remember that life anymore. What I do remember is how I got here. And that is, well, you've heard this, and I'm sure many of the folks watching, that God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called. And oftentimes in my life, I've felt neither called nor qualified. And on January 10th, January 12th, 2010, I was leaving my job at American Express and I was headed home to Brooklyn, not knowing that when I got above ground in Brooklyn, I would be asked to heed a call. As I was coming up the stairs, my phone was on fire. Where are you? Are you okay? Are you seeing this? Oh my God. So I ran home and I turned on the TV and my eyes were assaulted by scenes of utter devastation. People running in the streets, bloody. My country, Haiti, had been struck by a 7.2 magnitude earthquake. 316,000 people, some of them my family members, dead. 1 million homeless, without access to food, water, healthcare, nothing. My heart broke in my chest. And as I stared at the screen, there was an elderly woman who was laying on the ground and her back was completely exposed. And I kept screaming at the television, why doesn't somebody cover her up? Why is no one covering her up? That's somebody's grandmother, somebody's aunt, somebody's mother. Why is no one covering her up? Like, are we not doing human dignity anymore? Like, God, somebody needs to go and do something. And as clearly as you are hearing my voice right now, I hear, you go. Lord, I was very clear. I said somebody needs to go. Silence. I didn't feel like I was qualified. I wasn't a doctor. I wasn't a nurse. I didn't have a nonprofit. I wasn't an engineer. I didn't know what to do. But I knew who would. My dad. My dad loved Haiti. He would say, Haiti is not a perfect country, but it's my country. And I knew, had he been alive, he would have been on the first plane out to help. And in that moment, I knew what I had to do. I resigned from my position at American Express, and I was on the next plane out to help. I did it scared. I did not know what I was doing. When I returned, I went to every meeting about Haiti that I could find. I connected with the people I needed to connect with. I got certified in what I needed to get certified in, and I created community to community. I am a restorer of dignity, and community to community attracts those with a heart of generosity who want to do the same with vulnerable and exploited communities in Haiti. 14 years later, we have multiple communities that are on their way to self-sufficiency. I will let you in on a little secret. Heeding the call isn't even about you. It's about all of the lives you will impact for the good. So that is my message to anyone who's listening. If you believe that you are called, do not wait to be qualified. Heed the call.
Powerful, powerful, powerful. Thank you for sharing your story. And I see the chat is blowing up right now. I want to give a shout out to Beverly. This is going to be good. Good evening, Darlene. Thank you, Darlene. Pastor Darlene Quinetta. Amen, amen, am. Images Media. Good evening, my great people. Good to see you. Blessings, Quinetta. Thank you. I love your story because I hear so many of us say, someone else can do it. And you left, I'm saying a cushy job. It probably wasn't cushy, but it definitely was steady. It definitely was comfortable, and uprooted your life to answer this call, doing it afraid. And some of us might not be called to start a nonprofit across the world, but we might be called to leave our job. We might be called to step out of our comfort zone to do something, and we might not feel like we're qualified to do it or know our next step. So for someone who might be feeling like they're called to start a nonprofit, but they don't know where to begin, what advice would you offer them?
I would say the most freeing thing is to say yes. You got to get in agreement with God. It's like what they say, God doesn't force you against your will, but he knows how to make you willing. Okay. Yeah. So I would say that in my case, he made it sexy. Like, it's my people. It's my family. Right. And so when the call comes, you're like, I'm on a mission from God. God called me and I'm going. Then you get home, you're like, wait, who gonna pay the rent?
Right? Got questions, God. Got questions.
Hold on. I don't have a job. I don't have health insurance. Wait a minute. There's groceries that need to be bought. Like, when I was full, was nothing. And then when you tell people, I'm leaving my job, the people are like, oh my God, that's so amazing. Right. So nobody even thinks about that. Right. So I think it was when somebody was just like, well, what are you going to do for like insurance? And I was like, what?
Right. These are things.
And by then I'd already submitted my resignation, but I will tell you what, God is faithful. Psalm 91 became my insurance plan. Okay. I don't know what folks are doing, but I'm going to tell you that his benefits package is fire.
All right, now.
Entire time I left my job in May of 2010. In the entire time that I was without work, without health insurance, I never got sick. Not one time. It was interesting because, you said, how did I get here? I had different plans altogether, right? I'd moved to New York and I worked really hard to get out of debt, and I'd started this whole financial freedom thing, and I had money saved up. I knew what I was going to do, but God had different plans. So those funds were actually used to start community to community. And I did not know that at the time, right? And I remember that when I took a part-time gig, because when you leave to go on, you are starting a journey, right? And so he's not going to tell you everything. And it's sometimes hard to have a need to know basis, relationship with somebody. But sometimes God is that way. But the faith part kicks in where I knew I was never going to be homeless. I knew I was never going to be hungry. I knew that. But then he showed himself more faithful, that the things I was kind of holding on to, money, uh, trying to get health insurance, get a part time job, do all of these other things. I'm going to tell you this. I left in May. In July, I went for my first trip. When I came back, it took a lot, like funds. I was using my 401k, a bunch of things. Some point I was looking at my bank account like every day. And I remember this like it was yesterday. I was sitting in my bed and I was checking the account. And Holy Spirit says, why do you keep looking at your account? And I said, I just want to make sure it's there. I just want to check it. It makes me feel like, I'm good. And he said, that's the way you're supposed to feel about me. And that hurt my feelings, but in a good way. I understood that my faith and my feeling safe was in the wrong place, because the money did go, but God did not.
Wow, that is real. Thank you for your transparency around that, because and I'm sure many people who are watching right now have struggled with checking the bank account. God, what about this? What about this? What about that? And God has sustained you in a number of ways, too many
Yeah.
to count,
Yeah.
and right now, really quick, I just want to acknowledge some people who are watching. Yvonne, good to see you. Coach Star is in the house as well. I see our family, our Master Storyteller Academy, MDS Academy, mastermind community here. MarieYolaine and I are in the same community. And so one of the things I must ask while we are sharing stories is, how effective has it been for you to share your story as it relates to your why around your nonprofit and getting funds and getting support?
Um, I'll say it's along the same lines of what you're asking about, what someone should do if they making this decision. So it's say yes, then it's find a community, then it's get planted, then it's do the work, right? And I didn't know that when I started, right? So I made a lot of mistakes. Some of them were very expensive, and trying to figure out, where I fit in. And then I will tell you the story part was the hardest. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm a little chatty. So I don't have a problem talking to people. That wasn't the thing, but I did not know how to put it together, right? And then the other thing that really, I would say, bothered me and made me frustrated, I felt like after a while, I was just begging for money. That really made me feel like I didn't leave my job to go beg for money. And I just felt like I didn't have the confidence either in what I was doing. So it's like being in community helps you to get help with accountability, with your mindset. When you're around other people who are striving, it brings confidence in you. And then that impacts your message. So when my story got tight, that I, in alignment, that I believed that my story had value, then I had no problems saying it, because I wasn't waiting to be validated after I told my story. And that was like, for me. So if somebody responded, that's because what I said resonated with them. And because I just added value to their life by sharing the story that made them go, I need to go find out what I'm supposed to be doing, and heeding the call. But I was not waiting for them to go, well, I'll think about it. I'll think about if I'm going to donate. No, I do not ask anymore. I do not convince anymore. I make invitations. And you either say yes or no. Either way, I'm going to keep going.
That's right. Love it. And I hope that people are catching these gems that you are dropping right now, particularly in the work of nonprofit. I was an executive director for about 10 years. And
Hmm.
I learned over that time that the power of sharing your story about your why, the impact that you're making, all those things make a difference. And yes, MarieYolaine, you share your story well. So
Thank you.
with
Thank you.
boldness, I love it. I love it. I see Robinson says powerful. Either way, I'm going to keep going. Hello, Glory Candle. Thank you for being here. And anybody else who's just joining, welcome, welcome. Nicole, in agreement with God. Yes, love it. And as we're talking about this process, you mentioned the importance of community. And I'm going to pause there for a minute to talk
Mhm.
about our community, because those who are watching right now, if you're a woman who's called to ministry, if you're called to start a business and you are a Christian woman who you want to go out and make impact in the world, we have a community for women just like you. Because I remember when I was first getting started with my ministry, which is a trauma healing ministry, I was searching for resources. I was searching for training on how to raise funds, how to structure my ministry. Hey, it's kind of lonely out here. And I was looking for support. And so I decided to form the community that I was searching for when I
Thank
first was
you.
getting started. And so this is just a public service announcement. You don't have to be out here in these ministry streets by yourself. If you are searching for support, then I encourage you to visit our community, womenintheministry.com, to learn more information about how we can support you. And also, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button so that you can stay in the know as we put free resources out to help you to better your impact in the community. But back to the subject, because we are here with the great MarieYolaine, who is doing great things. And so I want to talk to you about what were some of the biggest challenges you faced in building community to community? Because yes, you're resilient. Yes, you 10 years plus in the game, but what were some of the challenges that stood out and how did you overcome those challenges?
I would say the first one obviously was raising funds. It was networking. And my degree is not in nonprofit management, right? So again, like I said, the call is sexy, right? You don't think about the fact that you may not know outside of your desire to want to help, to want to be creative, to want to sing, to want to dance, whatever that may be. You know that that desire is strong. You're clear on that. But once you get out there, you're like, ugh. But I believe that God's concern is not whether we complete a thing. I believe, at least for myself, it is who we are becoming in the process. So I'm not the person I was, in 2010, right? That I was going to every meeting and going everywhere. And like I said, I felt like I just became kind of like a beggar because I just didn't understand me, my message, or my value, right? Um, but it was through those mistakes and through, I have a sign on my wall that says, celebrate every victory, no matter the size, right? So there are times when I'm just like, I just made it to the right meeting, or I talked to the right person, or they weren't the right person. They told me who to talk to. It just built my confidence, to keep going. And I just feel that now, the thing that I hated the most, I don't think that anyone wants to go into ministry or to start a nonprofit because they want to go ask for money or they want to go raise money. I've never met anybody who's like, girl, yes, I quit my job because I wanted to ask people for money. Like, nobody ever said that. Nobody, right? People are like, we need to get our roads fixed. We need a playground for these kids. We need to help this community become self-sufficient. And as a result of that, this is how it has to happen. So it was very important for me to get in alignment, to be like, okay, figuring out how to raise the money, figuring out how to network, and also the right partnerships, right? There are folks who've been with us since the beginning, right? It took me a couple of years to even see that. And we created what is called the C2C neighbors. Those are our folks who donate to us monthly. I was the first one. One of our rules and our pillars in C2C is I won't ask anyone to do something I won't do. So the members of the team, the community, they also are C2C neighbors. So that was one, right? Going to every networking event to start to build relationships with folks, because they might not say yes to you today, But if they see the work that you're doing and you're producing results, there are folks reaching out to us now because of the fact that they've seen we still here and we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, you kind of spoke on my next question about partnerships. It seems like because you stayed in the game, people are like, okay, you're not one overnight idea, like you're in it
No,
to
ma'am.
win it. And so for you, the partnerships, also, I'm kind of curious about even selecting your board, because
Mhm.
we understand that a board of directors is a key part in your nonprofit, and you want to be selective with that. Any advice to someone in that department?
You said the word selective, right? And again, full transparency. When I started, I did not know that, right? So you ask friends, you ask family, you ask people who are close to you. Notice no interviews take place then, right? Right. Okay. So now there's an application process. Now we check references. Now you have to talk with the other members of the team. Now we have a culture to protect that everybody and their mama can't come through, right? Um, and I will tell you, God has given me discernment as well. I can see I'm just coming up in here to use this situation. I can see that from a mile away. Before I couldn't because I thought I needed them, right? And that was a very important lesson
I see
to
stars. She
learn.
said, no Auntie Betty. I'm just laughing at her right now. Can't have Auntie Betty, Cousin Pookie.
Right, Ray
No.
Ray and them,
Right, right.
no,
They can't be
no.
on the board.
No, they cannot. They cannot. And again, in the beginning, make all the mistakes. There are also organizations, I'm going to say it's the United Way is the one that comes to mind, Robin Hood Foundation, among others, that there are folks looking to be on boards, right? Some of them are retired. They're really looking to give back. So it is important to do your research. If you type in literally Google how to get a great board, there's so many courses you can take, books you can read, or associations that you can be a part of that you won't have to make the mistakes that I made, right? And you lead with your head, not with your heart, right? There's a time for the heart, and it is not in business and making business decisions. So now I know.
Yes, I love that. I love that. And you reminded me of a coach, a quote from my coach, who Coach Carol Boston. Shout out to
Mm,
her.
yes,
She talks about how we get to make business decisions, not feeling decisions. And I'm like, yeah, that right there. Because, we're big hearted people. This is why we started a nonprofit, but our feelings could get us into trouble sometimes.
yes, yes. And you need to know the difference because your compassionate heart, your being an empathetic person is what drew you to the call. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. But it's like, trust God, lock your car. Like, you got to do both. You have to do both. Like, literally, it says discernment. Literally, it says, as wise as a serpent, as humble as a dove. It's both, right? And I'm just, as we say, don't come unless I call for you. But if you do show up, understand that I can do lion and I can do lamb.
Woo, come with it. That's a hashtag. Drop that in the chat right there. Don't mess with my girl. And so, all right. So, question. So, for you right now, you have an international ministry and you're doing all these other things. How do you do it? How do you balance personal life, ministry, nonprofit, you involved in your church? Tell me, what's your secret?
Knowing that there's no such thing. I think that's important. I think we all, especially as women, right? We all, depending on if you're a woman of a certain age, you remember the commercial of, what is it? Something, I can do this in the morning, do this in the afternoon, and do this and do that and do everything. And then we bought into that, right? And that
Lies.
lies.
The lies we tell. Sue somebody. Go ahead. Sorry, keep
That's when
going.
we get Florida Evan. Yeah, yeah. It's all lies, right? Here's the truth. Everybody gets 24/7, non-negotiable, right? Should somebody get an eighth day, please call me because I need to know about that. But since we all get 24/7, then you have to figure out what you're going to do. Everything can't be a priority. That's number one, right? So it's not C to C, my husband, my family, my health. Like, I would love for all of those things to be number one, but in truth of the matter, that they're not. Oftentimes, my health is what gets kicked to the curb, right? And so I'll tell you this year, now 2025, I would like to share with you the words that God gave me for myself, but I feel like he released me to share. There's two. The first word is reclaim. This year makes 15 years of C to C, of community to community. And there are parts I left behind that I need to reclaim. There's relationships I left behind that I need to reclaim, that I need to go get back to make myself whole. And once I get those, the second word he gave me was cultivate. Sometimes this work does not allow you to stay anywhere long. I've missed birthdays, I've missed weddings, I've missed baby dedications because of that. Because I thought I had to be all things to all people and be everywhere, everything all at once. And I failed. I failed to the extent of having heart palpitations, of losing weight, of having migraine headaches. None of that I believe God wanted for me, but I just did not know any better. The mantra he's given me to say, I give it to you with my full heart and encourage you to say it. I am caring for myself with the same love and attention I use to care for others. I am caring for myself with the same love and attention I use to care for others. I'm done with being last in my life. I'm done. So I do my level best to balance things out, but trust and believe this is the year of putting the mask on first, right?
I'm shouting over here.
This is what it is. So I'm going to take care of myself because you want the best me to show up. And in order for that, I need to sleep. I need to rest. I need to eat right. I need to go to the gym. I need some quiet time. I need those things. So everything cannot be number one. Balance means for me is what I put where, right? What I put where. And every day is not the same. But if you care for yourself with the same love and because I know the people listening care for everybody. I know that. You can't be a ministry and not be caring for everybody. That's like ministry spelled backwards, right? So, but caring for everyone at the expense of you, there will be no medals in heaven because you worked yourself to death. None. None. I promise you. It's well done and good and faithful servant. It isn't well done because you worked yourself into the grave. Take care of yourself, then take care of everything and everyone else to the best of your ability.
That is a message right there. If you in the chat, if you're watching live right now, okay, put something in the chat on what you're catching. I hope you're catching these gems because she's talking to you, because we do need you to be well. We do need for you to care for yourself. I see Yvonne, I'm caring for myself with the same love and attention that I used to care for others. My new mantra. Yes, that needs to be all. That gets to be all our mantras. Bring that same energy to yourself. Bradley Toms, thank you. Yes, right? Because at the end of the day, we want to still be here and well. So we are pouring from a place of abundance, right? People are getting from our overflow, as Lisa Nichols talks about, right? I have many bags full of gems. That's right. B, feel it in my heart. Love it. Star, where are these gems coming from? Girl, you got depth. That's right. That's right. And so there's so much we can talk about, but we only have so much time. And so I have a couple more questions, two more actually, okay. And then we're going to close our time here. But I guess my question is, for those who, they know they're called, but something is standing in the way. Maybe it's fear, which might be leading to procrastination. Maybe there's all these other obstacles. Maybe they're saying life is life and all the things, but they have not answered the call yet for whatever reason. What would you say to them to encourage them?
I'm going to say two things. I'm going to repeat one of them. The first one is that it is not about you. So important that you know that, because the fear has you thinking, if I, it has nothing to do with you. Every trip we take to go see our partner communities in Haiti, I see the why. When they come up and talk to us, what I think about is, if I had not done what the Lord told me to do, this person's life would have been impacted. And I think about this a lot because I used to be a person who played it safe. And I'm here to tell you that playing it safe does not serve you, nor does it serve the world at all. There are people that God has assigned to you. And if you continue to play it safe, they will continue to suffer. I know that might be stepping on some people's toes, but I just have to give it to you straight. There was one trip that we took. And in that trip, we helped the community. We had raised money here and we had sent it down for them to build latrines or outhouses, as we would call them here. After the earthquake, many people had no access to go to the bathroom. So they built 75 of them for the 75 families. And they had one at the church and then one at like the community center. So there was a place where everyone can go. I was not there for the building, but I was there the day that they actually had a ceremony where they gave folks keys. And the pastor of the church came towards me. And in my mind, I thought he was coming to say, thank you for the funds that you gave us. Thank you for sending the money and the technical support. And here's what we bought and what we did. I was ready to hear that. He walked up to me, he took my hand and he shook it. And he said, thank you for suffering with us. Thank you for restoring our dignity. I cried all the way home. God is not giving you a spirit of fear. He's given us power, love, and a sound mind because that spirit is so strong. So you have to use power, love, and a sound mind because everything you want to do, everything that God has called you to do is on the other side of the fear. And you already know that it is false evidence appearing real. Here's what fear doesn't want you to do. Submit. God, I'm afraid, but I want to do this. And as we've learned in our community, take fear with you. Put it in the back seat. Put it in the glove compartment. Put it in the trunk. The goal that we have is not to be fearless. That is impossible to do in this lifetime, to be without fear, right? Our goal is to be a little less fearful today than we were yesterday. The enemy does not want you to even try. And understand this, whatever the call that is on your life will continue to call you, number one. And number two, the adversary cannot prevent you from achieving your destiny, but what he can do is compromise your arrival. So get your head right, get in community, find the people who are going to hold you accountable and lift you up. We'll all be afraid together, but we'll all move forward together. That's my advice.
That's some great advice. What can we say after that? That's good indeed. Take her with you. Don't let her drive. Star says fear. That's an inside joke for you all. So don't worry about that. But 2 Timothy 1:7. I see that scripture out here. I love it. Amen, Quinetta. Thank you. I wish I could talk to you all day, MarieYolaine, but I know that we have to wrap our time, and I want people to know how they can support what you're doing. I wanted to bring your website up, but the banner would not save. So please share your website with people so they can know how to donate and learn more about you.
It's simple. The letter C, the number 2, the letter C, Haiti. And I'll type it in. Is it the private chat in the comments?
The comments.
Although my people are all in the chats, actually. My husband, Brad, is here. I believe my COO is here, c2chaiti.org. Everything you want to know about us is there. And I invite you to come and visit us and be a part of something greater than yourself.
Oh, you extended the invitation. Do you all accept the invitation? Check out their website. Check out what they're doing. And also, in addition to that, take action on your own call.
Yeah.
MarieYolaine and myself are just a reflection, a mirror to what is possible for you, for what God is calling you to do in this season. So don't be like, oh, that's good for them, and not do what God is calling you to do yourself. We want to encourage you to answer the call. And I appreciate you dearly. And I want to give a shout out to your amazing team who is here in the chat. So give it up for them as well. Love it. I see in the chat, they're saying she's on fire. Community to community is here. Beware Satan compromise. What if Yvonne said, beware, Satan will compromise my arrival. No way. Thank you so much. Walking into my calling, Quinetta. See, you inspired some people. So we're grateful for that. We appreciate you. And I look forward to having you back, because actually we are having another conversation with you that'll premiere in a couple of weeks for my conversation around trauma healing. And you have a business that I'll give you a sneak preview about, where you help people to heal from their financial trauma. Yes, some of us have some financial trauma. And so we are going to let you know when that is released. So be sure to subscribe to this channel so you can see her part 2 interview when we talk about that in a couple weeks. But again, thank you, MarieYolaine, for being here and sharing your time. You have been a blessing to us. And chat, show her some love. Continue to show her some love.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
I'm grateful for you. Thank you. And thank you for all who are tuning in live today. Just some closing comments here. First, some people who probably could have benefited from seeing this interview. So don't keep all this goodness to yourself. Share it with someone else who was not able to see this live. And also be sure to subscribe to this channel, because if you were blown away by our special guest today, there are other impact women who I get to interview every week at 7 p.m. Central on this same channel. And so you don't want to miss an episode. And like I said, if you are looking for support, you're a Christian woman who wants to start your ministry, want to start your nonprofit, you want to be a life coach, you want to write your book, tune into womenintheministry.com. Check out our website. We have free events, resources. Be sure to subscribe so you can be on our email list, so we can send you some good information on how we can help you to start your ministry. So that's it for this week. Family, I'm so glad that you showed up strong tonight to watch this amazing episode. It was so good to hang out with you. And until next time, you stay encouraged, you keep the faith, and you continue to make impact in the world. I'll see you soon. God bless you all. All right. I believe it ended. I think it's trying to keep going. So
it is. It says live.
All right, you all. You can log off. This is
not the after party.
This is a blooper. I don't know what's happening. We gonna log off, so y'all can log off.
That's hilarious.
I don't know what's going on. This internet is not letting us be great. So I'm gonna probably leave the studio to close this out. Bye, everybody. MarieYolaine, I'll text you. See you all. Take care, you all. Bye, after party. All right.